I work at the Elmhurst Public Library's Makery. For tonight's craft night from the Makery program, my coworker Dulce and I are going to show you how to make a Thanksgiving-themed decoration. We had a limited number of kits available for pickup at the drive-up window that included the materials needed for the project. The kit includes a pre-cut chipboard design and a bag that has strips of felt to make your flowers, pre-cut leaves, and a ball of yarn. If you are unable to pick up a kit, don't worry. The instructions in this video will show you how to recreate this kit, and we even have links in our description to show you how to create a design like this. Additionally, you're going to need scissors to cut your materials, and the fabric and yarn does need to be glued, so you need either hot glue, fabric glue, or another form of glue to secure it all in place. Once you have all of your supplies, you're ready to get started. To get started with tonight's craft, you want to grab your door wreath design. Now for patrons who are able to pick up the kits, we pre-cut the designs in 2mm chipboard using the laser cutter. Since we were using the laser cutter, we decided to use the Inkscape illustrating software to create our design. And with the laser cutter, it only takes about 10 minutes to cut this design. You will notice that there's a little bit of ash along the edges of your design. That's because the laser cutter burns through the material in order to cut it. The laser cutter is capable of cutting wood up to 1/4 inch, so you could recreate this design or create a custom design and cut it in wood so it's a little sturdier than the chipboard. You also have the option to recreate this design using Cricut Design Space and to cut the chipboard using the Cricut Maker cutting machine, or to prepare your design using the Silhouette Studio program to cut your chipboard using the Silhouette Cameo cutting machine. However, for both machines, the Silhouette and the Cricut, it does take about an hour per door wreath to cut the design in chipboard, but the benefit is that you don't have the singed edges. If you're interested in learning how to create a design like this, we have a tutorial for Inkscape, Cricut Design Space, and Silhouette Studio. The links to those tutorials are in the description below. So now let's get started decorating. You should also have about 12 yards of yarn in your kit. It should be some sort of fall themed color, so maroon or green or purple or orange. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around our door wreath. I recommend securing the yarn in place using either hot glue, or you can get craft tacky glue or fabric glue. And to make sure that the front is going to look really nice, what we're going to do is flip over so we're on the back side. And you are going to take the end of your yarn. You're going to place at the very base of either the T or the S, wherever you want to start. We're going to do this part first. You want to place just one bead of hot glue, just a little bit. And you want to place your yarn down, and you want to start wrapping it. After you place your first piece of hot glue and wrap it around once or twice, your yarn should be secured in place. Once it's secured in place at the start of your section, you want to start wrapping the yarn around your door wreath. So it will take a while to wrap this. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of mine. Skipping ahead once more in the video, you can see that I've finally finished up my bottom section. You will notice that wrapping the door wreath does take a little bit of time. So if you're doing this as a group craft, you could have other members of your group prepare the flowers that are going to be attached to the bottom. Now, I finished wrapping up the section, so just like I did with my section in the middle, I am going to end this by gluing it in place on the door wreath with my hot glue gun. making sure that the end of that yarn is stuck to the hot glue gun and letting it dry, and then snipping the end off. So if you can see on the video, I have hot glue here, here, and here. When I ran out of thread, I needed to continue. It's on the back side of the door wreath, so if you look at the front, you shouldn't see any glue globs. You can also take time after you get the section to kind of move the thread around and fluff it to try and fill any gaps you might notice. Now we still have these sections to do, so you want to go ahead and finish the sections at the top. After some time, you should be done wrapping the yarn around the frame of your design. Again, you want to make sure that you're gluing the ends of your yarn on the back side of your door wreath so that they're hidden on the front side. Once you're done wrapping your door wreath in the yarn, you're ready to add the leaves and flowers along your design. We decided to make the leaves out of felt, and we cut them using the Ellison die cutter. The Ellison die cutter is often used with paper and cardstock, but it can cut felt, and in our case we have this tiny leaf Ellison die cut that we used. To cut these designs yourself, you would grab your Ellison die cut and you would cut your felt. And with the Ellison die cutters, there's blades on the bottom side where the sponge is. You want to be careful that you're always grabbing your die cut on the edges so you don't cut your fingers by pushing down on the sponge. And you just want to gently lay your felt over top the sponge area. Once you have your felt lined up with the die cut, you're going to flip it back over. You want to slide it in between the platform and the press on the Ellison die cut. And for something as thick as felt, we recommend taking the handle and pushing it down. And you want to do this about 3 times, sometimes even 4, to make sure it cuts all the way through the felt. So there are 2 leaves. Sometimes the leaves get stuck under the press, so you just want to grab them from under the press real quick.
To make the flowers included in your kit, you have 3 strips in different sizes, and for this step you will need glue or hot glue, whatever you're using, and scissors. Let's start with the widest strip first. For this step, you're gonna need your scissors only, and at the end, we're gonna use our glue. So we're gonna fold it in half, and we're gonna start cutting in one of the edges, leaving about a little bit of about a quarter of an inch at the edge. So we're gonna just do it. We don't need to be precise. And we're gonna go all the way till the end of the strip. When you have all your strip cut, what we're gonna do next, and this is just as a safety precaution so it doesn't come undone, what I like to do is to add a little bit of glue at this edge and then glue it together. And what we're gonna do after we glue it together, you can use hot glue or regular glue. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start rolling it, starting in one end of our strip. And again, it doesn't need to be neat. We just need to make sure that this part stays flat. After you roll it, you can add a little dab of glue at the end just to secure it. And also, if you have time and if you have some needle and thread, what you can do is just also sew it. We're gonna turn it, we're gonna fluff it up a little bit, and we have our first flower. For the second flowers, we are going to use the same process for both of them. So you can use either one. And what we're gonna do is you can just fold it in fourths. And what I do here, I'm gonna cut it a little bit. And again, I'm leaving a little bit of an edge here. So when I roll it, I have a little bit of a base. And what I'm gonna do is just cut all the way again, but this time I'm not folding it, I'm just leaving it as is. Once you have your strip all cut up, again, we're gonna roll it, starting by the end, and we're gonna go all the way around. And right here, we can add just a dab of glue. In our second flower, we can just fluff it up a little bit, and our second flower is done. We're gonna follow the same process for the other color, and then we're ready to put our wreath together. So we have our form, and we have our big flower, and then we have our two smaller flowers. And also on your kit, you have a few of the leaves. So you can choose to place them anywhere you like. You can choose to put the orange this way, or you can just choose to put the bigger one on top and the smaller ones at the bottom. For this, I am going to do one small, one big, one small, and I'm going to glue the leaves in between the flowers.
So I put a little bit of glue on the base. You want to make sure you're actually going to put glue on the flower and it's going to touch the wreath. And this might require you to flip it over on the back side just to make sure that your glue is lining up with the wreath. And you want to hold it in place just for a moment until it cools and dries. And you're going to do that with your other flowers. And again, you do not need to put glue on the entire base of the flower. You only need to put glue on the part of the flower that's going to touch the wreath. All right, so my flowers are now in place. I'm going to glue my leaves together. And once my leaves are glued together, I'm gonna glue the leaf onto the wreath. And you're done. So now we have a fully decorated Give Thanks door wreath. Again, you might have some leftover leaves. You can decide to put these at the top if you want to add some more decorations. And you can either use this as a tabletop centerpiece, you can hang it on the wall on a nail or a hook, or you should have some leftover yarn from when we wrapped the door wreath. And if you want to hang this on a hook, what you can do is take your yarn, fold it in half, slide it under your door wreath, and create kind of a loop, and slide your yarn through the loop, and it will kind of create something for you to hang on. And then depending on how well you did this, you can go ahead and tie off your yarn. And snip your ends, and you have a finished door wreath to hang. Thank you for following along to tonight's craft night from the Makery video. You should now have a finished Thanksgiving themed decoration to show off to your family and friends. And don't forget, you can always post on social media and tag us at AskElmhurst or hashtag ElmhurstMakery to show us how you did.